your girl, Camille, who the performing arts renaissance woman, in case you just walked in. Hello, people. Yes, so I was playing a little bit of Calypso. That was some Calypso flavor. You know, I love me some rhythm. I love me some rhythm. Y'all know how much I love rhythm. You know how much it's in my blood. You know how much it's in my environment, my upbringing. It's been in my life, right? My whole life. Okay. So, tell you a little bit about why I chose Calypso. Because I wanted to tell you a little bit of a story about, or a challenge, I guess. You guys probably know by now that I am a first-generation American-born Jamaican. So really, I grew up in a Jamaican household. My family they're Jamaican. I mean, gosh, like everybody in the house was Jamaican, and me and my twin sister and another sister of mine, we were all born in America. So we had this just very, we knew how, first of all, we knew how to speak American English really well because we went to American schools. But we were coming from a culture and rules and principles and certain specific ways. And just even the ways that we spoke were very Jamaican, okay? Very West Indian. My whole family, my cousins, mostly everyone was born in Jamaica, so everywhere we went, as far as our family get-togethers, all those things, we were surrounded by patois, which is a broken English. We were surrounded by that, the language. We were surrounded by the culture. My grandmother, I spent a lot of time with, she was she spoke that heavy patois. In the 80s, it was not cool to be Jamaican. You know, they just weren't open to different cultures. We were used to the Latin Americans. We were used to Puerto Ricans. We were used to that. But American children were not used to Jamaicans or West Indians being in their midst. So they weren't used to the culture. They used to make fun of us, or they used to make fun of the culture. See, I was able to kind of live under the radar because I grew up in an American school, so I was able to, and my mother was very strict about us learning how to speak proper English because, we saw that a lot of the kids that came from Jamaica or the West Indies or another country, Africa, we saw that they were made fun of. So we just made sure we never really leaked out our culture or our language from Jamaica. And so we kind of got away with that. The bottom line is that, like, at the end of the day, we're living in fear of really being ourselves. One time we had a report that we had to do in class. So I was presenting Jamaica. I had Jamaican food. I had a nice presentation. I was decked out. I was looking good. I was feeling good. I was proud to share with my friends and my classmates about my family's native country, native land, and that was Jamaica. I remember people snickering and hee because of my outfit, which was not tomboy like they're used to seeing. So they were already making fun of that, and you could hear them snickering. And then they also snickered about when I played Bob Marley. Like, first of all, everybody knows Bob Marley now, right? Isn't that funny? In the 80s, it was this weird, just such a weird time of, this is a weird time, but I digress. At this point, everybody knows Bob Marley. If you don't know Bob Marley, where have you been? Under a rock? Were you just born yesterday? But then to play one of Bob Marley's tunes, something other than "We're Jammin'," other than that, right? That's a tune that everybody kind of knew because those tunes were being played on the radio. But I played Redemption Song. I was so proud of it because clearly, I mean, as I look back, I am a lyricist. And so those lyrics really, really, really resonated with me, as my father's side of the family were slaves that came from West Africa that was brought to Jamaica. So it really resonated with me, and I thought they were powerful lyrics. I was just really proud to share these things, and I was hoping maybe my friends and my classmates would be open to listening to them and listening to the lyrics and really getting into it. But now I understand now, like, they wouldn't, because none of them lyricists. None of them were lyricists in the making or anything, right? So of course they wouldn't get it. I'm sure they get it now. But I shared it, and I just remember being made fun of. Like, at lunchtime, I remember being like, oh, now the cat's out of the bag. You are Jamaican. What? You Jamaican? You be doing this? You be saying that? Your father be doing this? Your mother be saying that? Like, just stupid, stupid stuff. And it really just affirmed why I was afraid to expose to anybody that I was Jamaican. Okay. Cut to decades later, or not even, like a decade later, I was singing backup and dancing for a reggae and R&B. It was reggae and R&B at the time, but a reggae group called Morgan Heritage. Just recently, in the last few years, Morgan Heritage actually won a Grammy in reggae, right? So here we are, right? Like, we've definitely evolved in that sense. But my culture, and being proud of my culture, I mean, I was afraid to show it, but being Jamaican, having an ear for reggae music, being a rhythmist in the making, all of these things led to my coming into an opportunity like singing backup and dancing for a reggae band. Yes, R&B as well, but reggae. So I was able to fit right in there. And it's also allowed me to reach a wider audience. It's also given me versatility. I can now speak patois, and I can rhythmically use that. Some people call it chatting. Some people call it toasting or toasting. Jamaican people call it chatting or chatting, but you're talking. You're basically talking in rhythm, along with music. So anyway, so now, right, like, I mean, so many people I've been sought after, like, oh, Camille, can you do this patois verse on this particular on this particular song? You can actually look up on my First Comes Love, my band Soul Raga's First Comes Love album. If you, listen to Sweet Destiny, if you listen to Good Vibe, these are songs. Oh, and if you listen to Dance, these are songs that have patois verses on it that I did, that are rhythmically and also musical, melodic, because I have a combination of all of these things, right? Rhythm and music and patois or chatting, right? So anyway, so now I'm just a lot more versatile, right? So having said all that, we are going to go ahead and authenticate that to scripture. And it's so funny. Listen, by the way, I don't authenticate to scripture just to say, like, hi, I'm better than you because I'm a biblical person. By no means. I am saying that the things that I'm showing and highlighting that the things that I was able to, the challenges I was able to overcome in my life were because of the power of God. And so as I started to, later on in my life, started to really read the scriptures on my own, I realized, oh, wow, no wonder this didn't work, because God says, and he made the world, and so he gave us the rules. God said that wouldn't work. Oh, no wonder this worked, because God said it would work, right? And so here's what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that someday maybe this resonates with somebody, and then it brings you to wanting to read the Bible, to wanting to find out for yourself. Because, I mean, I'm a human. Don't take my word for it. Go find out for yourself. And if you need help, there's always someone that can help you to study scripture and to really know where to start. Instead of starting just at Genesis and then stopping, you end up stopping at Leviticus is what ends up happening, because that's a difficult book to read if you read it from the beginning to the end. But if you kind of jump back and forth, which is what I did, you'll find, and if you read the right right versions, some books actually will give you the cross reference. Oh, this was being quoted from that scripture in that book. Oh, okay, let me look to that book now, and then see where it even comes from and what the context is. So you get to find all of that stuff out as well. And it's fascinating, and it's empowering, and it's educating, and it really is, and it's liberating, because God designed us to want him. God designed us to want something more, something that invokes peace, that invokes strength, that invokes some sort of freedom. And when you read the Bible and read it correctly, you actually find those things, and you're like, oh, this is what I've been looking for my whole life, or this is why this doesn't work, or this is why it did work in my life. So that's the reason why I do that, right? And I'm just going to keep on saying that from time to time. In no way do I think I'm better than you. Okay? We are all coming from some kind of dysfunction and brokenness, and we need God, and we need the salvation that comes from Jesus Christ. So that's the reason why I tell you that, hey, this is the scripture that turns out that lets me know, oh, I was doing something right. Or, you know what? There was no reason to be afraid, because God tells us over and over again not to be afraid, right? Why? Because it's our things to be afraid of. But when you know that God is with you, then your fear starts to subside, and God's power and God's help and his handiwork starts to get brighter and brighter, right? Especially through Jesus Christ. All right, so I'm saying this so back to the scripture that I'm authenticating this experience and the challenge that I overcame is from Joshua, the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and be courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. What? Come on, y'all. Come on. If that don't make you want to inquire about the Bible a little bit, then I don't know what does. Anyway, it's nice to know that the creator of the universe actually is with you wherever you go, and that you are not alone. Even if you're by yourself, you're not alone. All right. So yeah, that is it. That is the message for today. I am Camille Who, the performing arts Renaissance woman. And